clean, but...
All right, well, we'll just get started. You're with the generator company?
Generator,
Okay,
yes.
great. Are you going? Okay. So I'm Ryan Marshall with Obra. I think I've met most of you at some point. We're the general contractor. I'm the project manager. The training today is primarily for McGrath Electric to go over their systems. We're going to go over generator and lighting controls, potentially security if that rep gets here a little later. So I'll hand it over to Nick. You get to hold the mic.
All right.
In case you're really happy. This is Nick with McGrath Electric.
Well, I'm not going to be holding this for very long. So we got our Kohler, the individual who services and they service these units, so he can go over the actual operation of the generator. We'll start there, and then I'll show you how to transfer over to backup energy in case power goes out.
Is it on? Yeah. I'm Joe with Bay City. I'm here to do some training on the generator for you guys. We'll go over several things, important things, and well, whatever else you guys need to know. So at this point, I don't know if we're all going to walk out to the generator. Yeah, we can all walk out to the generator, and we can go over some things out there. We all go? We'll see if it works. If it don't, well. All right, we're good. All right, so I don't know who's going to be in charge of the generator, how many guys actually need to know about the generator. So can we find out who's going to be doing the inspections, the monthly inspections, weekly inspections, or is it just anybody that is available at the time?
Where do we have any of the crew here?
We have AJ and
So we can get a few guys over here.
AJ and Michael.
I know we won't all fit in front of the controller, so we'll get a couple guys, and then they can show the rest of the crew, right? So first of all, we can all get around the generator here, if you guys like. Make a circle. There's going to be some things. You guys want to step up? There's going to be some things that you guys need to check. I don't know how often you guys are going to be checking the generators. Are going to be weekly, once a week, or once every 2 weeks. So anyway, we're going to start off with the simple stuff. You guys know not to release your radiator cap after it ran, right? You don't want to burn your hand, you don't want to burn your face. So here's your radiator cap up here. So when it's cold, you can take this cap off, stick your finger in there, and you should be able to feel coolant, okay? You got a low coolant sensor here. If you don't feel coolant, you're gonna get an alarm on the controller, okay? So never take off your radiator cap after your engine has been running, okay? Always do that first. We're gonna be going over the simple stuff first. Here's your dipstick for your oil. Okay. And you got a rag. And there is two lines on there, if you guys can see. There's a max and there's a low, okay? You always want the oil to be right underneath the max, okay? Never higher. And this little guy hides right here. So if that cord is over, you're not gonna find it, right? So you gotta look everywhere. So if you need to add oil, this little yellow tab here, you take it off, add a little bit of oil to it, okay? Those are your basics, okay? Your air filter here. We can walk around the other side. And
So if you had to add oil, what oil do you use?
Usually on the diesels, we use 15W40. The brand could be any brand that you guys want to get, but it's a 15W40, okay? And you pour it right in here. So on this side, we have, I'm sure we might be doing the services on here, so you guys really don't have to worry about the oils. When you do look in here and do an inspection, just make sure there's no liquid on the bottom. If you see liquid, that means you have a leak somewhere, okay? And that's very important to notify, management, and management from there on will notify the right people to come out here. All right? So we'll walk around on the other side. This is your fuel tank. I don't know who's going to be responsible for your fueling. You drop your tabs and you fuel. You never fill over 90% of your tank, okay? Never. You always leave room in your tank for expansion. Yes. Fuel gauge.
Do you know what size tank it is?
You have an 87-gallon fuel tank. So 90% of the 87. Just keep it under 90% would be better. 85% is best. Come over here on this side. Since this unit is small, we don't have a whole lot to go over parts. So you have a battery charger here. If you come out here one day and your unit is dead, don't start. Okay? This battery charger is hooked up to a circuit over there. That circuit goes into one of your guys' panels over there. If that breaker on that panel's tripped, you're not gonna. I'm sure this battery's gonna go dead. Okay. So these batteries, they last very long time, 3, 4, 5 years. We change them out every 3 years, just it's a preventive maintenance kind of deal. On this side, the most important things is the battery and your battery charger. Don't have to do anything to those. Just if you get up close enough, you can see a little green light on there. It's good. It's good just to take a peek. Yeah. If it's not on, then you go check your breaker and so on. Okay. It's good. Again, it's good to see no leaks in here. Just take a peek. It's just a visual. It's all visual for you guys. Don't stick your hands in there when it's running. Okay, so we're going to close these up, and then we're going to go start it up. We're going to have you guys start it up, and then we'll go over the little knobs, however your readings on your unit. Okay, so we'll go back on the other side.
How often do you recommend we run it?
You can run it about. The state does not allow you to run over 12 hours a year. Okay. That's not counting your emergency hours. Don't quote me on that. I just might be an hour off, okay? But there's a limit of hours you're able to run per year.
Do you recommend that we run it once a month for a half hour?
You can run them once a month for a half hour. You can run them once a week for 15 minutes. Usually, it's good to run them weekly. During the winter time, it's good to run them weekly. You know that you're going to be running, right? During the summer, once every 2 weeks, 20 minutes.
Hey Joe, good question.
Yes.
So this generator is small enough, doesn't require BAA MQ permit. So does that?
It does not require?
It does not. It's underneath.
Then you might fall in a different guideline then.
So I don't know if that 12 hours required is.
No, I'm not. I couldn't tell you that, but if you guys don't, if it does not require a permit, then it falls. Yeah, falls in different guidelines. Then. All right, let's step to the other side. Okay, so you guys have a manual ATS, correct? Manual ATS, automatic transfer switch, manual. Okay, so at this point, we're just gonna go over simple stuff. On this display, if you guys can come up close, it changes on its own, okay? Your pressure, your temperature, your hour reading, your voltage, your hertz, your RPM, okay? It changes all by itself here. You can do it manually by turning this little knob, if you guys get close enough, and just tap on it on where you guys want to go be on. So E-stop. If you hit E-stop, you're gonna get a little ring, right? If you pull it out, silence. It's good to go into an auto and back to an off position. Since you guys have a manual transfer switch, this unit could stay in off position. The alarm silence will kill your site. Once you move it out of off, and back off or run, you're gonna get that alarm. You just tap on your silencer. Okay. You can leave it on and off. For whatever thing you do, and you go back to off, and you have that ringing, just hit the silencer. Okay.
So that just notifies you if you did have an automatic transfer switch that you're.
If you had an automatic transfer switch, you would have this guy on auto all times. At all times with your breaker closed. Now, speaking about the ATSs, since you have a manual ATS inside, this breaker, it's up to you guys. It can stay on, whether closed or open. Okay. At this point, it could be in either position for you guys. I'm gonna leave it back on in an open position, which is off position, right? But you guys could always do what you guys need to do to make things a little bit faster for you
Can you
guys.
explain what that breaker does?
This little breaker, if it's in the off position, the open position, this does not let any power go to the building. It will not allow it. It's power, the generator will produce power, but it will not let it go to the building. Once you hit it in the upward position, you got power going to your ATS. So if you got somebody working on your ATS, this would have to be in the e-stop and open position for safety. Now this is a very simple system. I'm gonna have you guys step up. Whoever wants to step up. You can go in. You can go into like say you can say power went off in the building. You had to come out here. First thing you want to do is turn your generator on before you even switch your transfer switch. Okay. So you want to make sure your generator's on first. Okay. So at this position, at this point, your power went off. Close your breaker. Go ahead and close your breaker. Okay. Hit run. Then you go inside and you close your ATS. Okay. And you're good. Go ahead and shut it off. And you just reverse the cycle. There you go. So at any given point, if utility power comes back on and this generator is on, they're not going to feed each other because of the ATS. So once you hit your ATS, you close it or you open it, whatever position you're going to be in. You can come out here, shut this off first if you want, or you can just do the transfer. And it shouldn't harm anything. Okay? So you're up next, power is down. You come out here.
Now, do you have to touch this?
No, this is just for an emergency.
Okay.
If you saw a fire or you saw fluid coming out, then you would e-stop it, okay?
Otherwise, this will stay.
That would stay like that at all times.
Okay.
It's as easy as that, okay? So your unit runs, when the unit runs, your power comes back on. There you go. And then you can go do your transfer on your switch.
Okay.
Whatever's faster for you guys. Does anybody else want to get on this controller?
Is it important to turn the generator off before you?
No.
If you have power back on?
It's not important. Your ATS will switch without it feeding each other. Your grid feeding your generator going into your grid. So whatever's faster for you guys, go ahead.
ATS, that's kind of cuts off the power from.
Right. Yeah, that switches from utility to generator.
So when this is running, and if they're working on down wires, it's not going to.
Exactly.
Go out and-
Yeah, it's not going to feed anything. Right. It stays in the building.
Sure.
The way the building's set up, it's either generator power or grid.
Exactly. None of the other. No. They cannot do both at one time. Pretty much, this is a nice unit and a basic unit. Not a whole lot of components that you guys have to keep an eye out on. Just it's all like your car, right? It's like your vehicles. If you see something that's not right, then you make the call, and this way it can get repaired at any given chance. Your hour reading. I don't know if you guys have a logbook. Do you guys know you guys have a logbook on this? Do you guys need a logbook?
Yes.
You do have one?
No, we don't have.
You don't have one.
We would like to have.
You would like to have it, so we can get you one. So if you come up here and you see your engine runtime, you don't have to move anything. You see it switching by itself. Show your oil pressure, battery voltage. 5.9 hours. Okay. So that's what you would log if you came out here and logged it on your book. Come out here and ran it for 15 minutes. It's going to be 5.9 beginning and maybe a 6.3 ending. Okay. So then it'll ask you how long did you run. It's going to be 0.4. So it's pretty simple. It's not a whole lot to it.
So there's an alarm there for the fuel.
There is an alarm for low fuel.
Okay.
I don't know where you guys have to where you guys have it set. Might be at 50% or a 40% level. Usually they're 50%. It's an alarm, but it's not a shutdown. It will not shut you down your unit until you get to the a lower sensor if it does have it.
Joe, where's the manual kept on the unit?
Do you guys have the manual to it?
The manual's in the binder.
The manual's in the binder.
Manual also on
Yeah, that's the manual I put in there in the binder.
Where do you store it on the unit?
You just shove it in a plastic bag and see somewhere where it doesn't. You can keep it inside. It's good. You guys are close enough here. It's always good to have it inside just in case you have a leak or something. It doesn't get all wet. It stays clean. There's also a fuel gauge inside, if you guys can see that. Hopefully they're both reading the same amount, right? Any questions on?
Is that just where you read the gas tank?
They got a manual one and an electrical one. So the electrical one is going to give you a fuel level, and the manual fuel gauge is on the outside. Yes, you can use either one. So this will always stay in the off position. You're always going to see a fault light because it's not in the auto. Or you can leave it in the auto and just come out here and run it. If you put it in the auto position, you will not have any lights except that green one there. And it's okay to be in auto because you guys are not wired to start in auto.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Nothing will happen now. The less lights you guys see, the better it probably is for you guys.
But then if it's in auto, we shouldn't have that breaker. Or it's still.
It will not. You can have the breaker down. This will never start in auto. It's not. It's not wired up to start in auto in any.
Because it's manual.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it's easier for you guys to keep it in off, that's fine. Whatever you guys want to do for you guys.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you.
If you guys ever need anything, have questions or forget something, I live about 20 miles from here, so it's no big deal for me to come by. Okay? I can come by anytime.
All right.
Okay, we good? Everybody okay? All right.
Nice job.
Thank you.
You're a professional.
Huh, I got kids.
Exterior doors.
We do have keys. They do lock. Yeah. I have keys to all the units in California, so you guys should have keys though.
You got a pair of keys in the binder,
Thank you.
and I have keys, extra keys.
Okay, so it's right there. Does that lock the other doors too? Or?
So
Each door has a
that
lock.
locks, but yeah, that locks, but you can still open it until you put the key in there.
Sure.
And they have the key you're saying.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah.
So,
Okay. All right, I guess we could take a look at the manual transfer switch. So when power goes out, you're going to turn the unit on, you're going to energize the breaker, and then you're going to head on over to the manual transfer switch. So
Are you going to explain the alarm to us, or is that Joe?
which alarm?
Alarm out here?
The fuel alarm.
Joe? Yes. Is there an alarm? What's that alarm for?
that's the alarm. Overfill, if you go over 90%, you're going to get an alarm.
Okay, so the bell's going to go off?
Bell's going to go off here. You're going to hear it.
And then we
And
Okay, so good.
after that, you're going to have to run it to get the fuel down. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
But the low
Alarm silence.
The low alarm, if it's low on fuel, there's an audible alarm that rings.
Right.
Is it like
It's just like a beep, just like a little bee sound.
Okay.
So this is a silencer alarm. If it comes higher, it's annoying. Just hit the button,
Okay.
silence it, but run the unit so the fuel level can go down below 90%. That's why the alarm goes off at 90%. So that's why I suggest 85% fill. You know, it's you don't want to run it every time somebody fills it, just to bring down the fuel level.
Sure.
So,
Thank you.
All right. All right, this is our manual transfer switch. So you are going to have to come in here and manually swap over to emergency power, generator power. This is it here. It's pretty simple. I have them labeled accordingly. This is your main switchboard. Obviously, we're energized through utility power, so we're connected. Upon failure of utility power, once you activate the generator, flip the breaker, you come over here, push it down into the off position and onto the on position to the generator section.
Is the off position the center?
yeah.
That's a disconnection between the two. So there's no way, you can't screw it up. It's just switch all the way down and then switch all the way up.
Okay.
That will energize your emergency panels, EHA and ELA, up on the second floor, and that's just some power and some lighting, just the essentials.
What does HA and LA mean?
EHA would be emergency high, and ELA would be emergency low. So
Okay.
it's different voltage.
Okay.
They're just acronyms for the different panels.
Terrific.
Labels. I guess that pretty much explains how the emergency power works upon failure. So we can move on to the lighting controls, and we'll let's get a hold of Ron. He should be. Oh, there he is.
Hello.